My father would be appalled by what's going on with this campaign and the name calling that's going on, and what Donald is saying about all those other players up there who would like to get the nomination, of the Republican Party. Tell us what you're actually going to do if you become president of the United States of America. It's nice to say, I'm going to make America great again, but how are you going to do that?
Michael Reagan on this program last night with some rather pointed criticism for Republican frontrunner Donald Trump. Certainly, Trump has had a lot to say. He recently took the gloves off and took on Carly Fiorina and also Dr. Ben Carson. You'll recall that Donald pointed to a picture of Carly, according to Rolling Stone magazine, and made some disparaging remarks about her face. He later told reporters he was talking about her persona, and he said of Dr. Ben Carson, he was just an okay doctor. So will this continue to work? Well, let's call in political analyst Dick Morris, who is the author of the best-selling book Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation. Dick joins us tonight from Philadelphia, and we've talked about this before, Dick, but every time Trump takes aim at everybody, every time people like Michael Reagan express shock, Donald goes up at the polls. Is that going to continue?
Well, I think that it's a question of how Trump attacks and who he attacks. When he attacks the plan to bring Syrian refugees into the United States, or when he attacks the Iran nuclear deal, I think he does great, and I think that's impelling his upward movement. I'm not so much a fan of the criticism of Carson or Fiorina or even of Bush. I think Trump needs to keep his guns squarely aimed at the issues because it is his novel and refreshing and unusual positions on those issues that are impelling his rise.
Well, it seems to be issues and personalities. Let's face it, Donald has a genius for staying in the news. I don't know if he games this out in his mind, but let's take, for example, what he had to say about Dr. Ben Carson. Quote, an okay doctor. It drew chuckles from some of the reporters. It draws continued attention. Is Trump, in terms of just keeping himself at the center of the news, is he some sort of savant when it comes to PR?
Well, the danger is that he has to say more and more crazy things to do that. He's not running against Carson for the post of doctor. He's running against him for the job of president. And his medical opinion on Carson's medical ability is neither here nor there. On the other hand, if he attacked Carson and saying that, I would not send up a rookie to face Hillary Clinton in the World Series before he gets some seasoning, I think that's a fair point. If he said that Carson is not used to the media, not used to handling himself, and we don't know how he'll do under pressure, that's a fair point. If he said with Fiorini that, we don't want her whole corporate record and all the layoffs and everything used against us in the general election, that's a good point. But to throw adjectives at people, I think, is a mistake.
Let us turn, with 3 minutes remaining, to someone you know pretty well. That would be Hillary Clinton. And of course, yesterday, the Department of Justice told a federal judge that Hillary Clinton did not break the law by using a private email server, nor was her handling of all these emails unlawful. Now, when you hear that, does that mean she's in the clear in terms of legal jeopardy? No. But what does it mean in terms of political jeopardy?
No, it doesn't even mean legal jeopardy. That's the opinion of the Justice Department. We'll see how the courts rule on that case. I was interested to note that it came out today that when they were discussing the issue of reimbursement to that kid who set up the server for them, I forget his name, the Clinton people admitted that Bill Clinton's staff had access to that server, and they don't have security clearance. That's a very important issue to look at. But look, Hillary can only recover by waging a negative campaign. That's the way she's always done it. It's always the basic part of her playbook. And she can't attack Sanders because if she says he's too far left, she'll win him votes. And if he says she can't, if she says he can't get elected, we'll look at her own poll numbers cratering. And she obviously can't go after Biden after the death of his son. So Hillary is to a great extent emasculated and unable to use the tools that she usually uses to win elections.
Well, but what can she do to lengthen her margin as the front runner?
I don't think she can. I think Hillary is doomed. And I think that the fact that 58% of the Democratic primary voters do not vote for her in the last poll. 22% vote for Bernie, 20% vote for Biden, and 2 or 3 vote for the others, and the rest are undecided.
Just want to turn to one other thing in terms of the legislative outlook for 2016. With what the Senate Dems have done to derail any effort to stop Obama's Iran deal, will this haunt the Democrats up for re-election to the Senate in 2016? And does this mean the Senate will stay in GOP hands in the next election? 30 seconds.
I think it'll stay in Republican hands anyway. But I do think that this Iran issue is a terrible issue for the Democrats in the fall. By 2 to 1, the public opposes this deal. And when it was first signed, they supported it by 2 to 1. The more they learn about it, the more they hate it. Now the Republicans can turn attention to these secret side deals that Obama won't reveal. That'll make it even worse. These Democrats are walking the plank as surely as the 63 of them did when they voted for Obamacare in the House and voted themselves out of office in 2010.
We will have to leave it there. Dick Morris, as always, you have our thanks. And you be sure to get your copy of the best-selling book by Dick Morris, Power Grab. You can do so by visiting powergrab411.com.